Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. Freilich and Chanukah. We know what the Gemara says in Shabbos and how the Rambam paskins and the Shulchan Aruch paskins, how we celebrate the Yom Tov of Chanukah. And it's basically in two things, two parts. There is what we do in private. There is what we say Hallel, we thank Hashem. The Rambam adds Yimei Simcha, days of joy. And then there is, like the Rambam says, the Hadlakas Haneres, the lighting of the candle, Lahares or Legalois Hanes. It's persumenis, and not only something to yourself, something private, but actually part of the mitzvah of Chanukah is to share with others and make light to the rest of the world. Lahares or Legalois Hanes, to reveal the miracle. People should persumenisa. People should be talking and knowing what's the holiday all about. And that's why Baruch Hashem we see that throughout the cities and countries they make public menorah lightings to be mefarsem or legales hanes. Now here, a thought that comes to mind is this is not the first time that we find that lights were used for a mitzvah. There's a wonderful sikha from the Rebbe, where the Rebbe makes a difference between the different neiros that we have. There is the neiros Shabbos Kodesh, the neiros in the Beis Hamikdash, and the neiros Chanukah. And the Rebbe actually stresses, whereas most of the other candle lightings, it's the reason why we light the candle is for some reason, like neiros Shabbos Kodesh. One of the reasons is Shalom Bayis, that you should be able to have light, and you shouldn't stumble, you should be able to see on Shabbos. And other neiros is also attributed to some kind of reason. The Rebbe writes that Chanukah licht, yes, there is this strong emphasis of Lahares or Legales Hanes, but at the same time, it's a very pneumiistic mitzvah, and the very fact that we see Shulchan Aruch says that if you cannot do it in public, sometimes if you're in private and there's nobody around, you still have to fulfill the mitzvah. And sometimes if you cannot do it by the window or by the door, in the public way, you do it al shulchan, on the table, v'dayoy. So we see that there is something very inner with this mitzvah, very pneumiistic with the mitzvah of Chanukah too. A thought that comes to mind is a din in Hilchas Kiddush HaChodesh that the Rambam brings. The Rambam brings in Perek Gimel, Hilchas Kiddush HaChodesh, Halacha Ches. When the Bezdin was Mekadesh, the Chodesh, Al Pi Ariyah, based on their calculation of Eidim coming and saying they saw the moon, how did they spread the word? So the Rambam says, Barishayna, originally, Kishahayu Bezdin Mekachin as a Chodesh, when Bezdin would proclaim the day of Rosh Chodesh, the way to spread the word, they would send a messenger, and the person would stand with a flame, a torch, on top of a mountain, and like this, the light would send a signal for everybody to know, hey, Bezdin was Mekadesh al Pi Bezdin was Mekadesh Rosh Chodesh. Kidei sheyedu harachokim. So the people distant away should know what Bezdin did in Yerushalayim. So we see what light was able to accomplish Rosh Chodesh to the distant. But what happened? Mishakilkalu hakusim, when the kusim came along and were causing trouble, shahayu masiyim masuas, they also pulled the trick. They knew that the Yidden were relying on this flame, on this torch, so they went up and they put up their fake torches, kidei lahate sasa'am, to confuse the people. So Bezdin came along and said, hiskinu, Chachamim were mesakin sheyu shluchim yoitzim u'meidim l'rabim. It's not enough to light a candle. It's not enough to light a torch. It's actually because there are others that could jam the system. The kusim came along and played their own game. So we need a shliach to go ahead and actually inform the people that it's Rosh Chodesh. I think that message is a phenomenal message. Yes, we go and we are mefarsim the nes. This Hadlakas Neres Chanukah has both points to it. It's Pirsum Nes publicly, Nebuch, we live in a time where the light could be jammed. Somebody else, a kusi, or somebody who wants to cause trouble could jam the system, put up some other thing that looks like light, and it could confuse, it could darken, Rahman al-Atzlan, at least for a blur to what's real light. And we know what the solution for that is. That together with the light that we spread, we have to send out a shliach to personally go and tell the people what's right and what's wrong. And that perhaps is the dual message of Chanukah. A, the spreading of the light in a way of a makifdik way, and then make sure to personally go and reach out to as many people and tell them what Chanukah is all about.